Hi, welcome to a brand new week for the Iron Shauna project where we're cooking well using only ingredients on hand. So I want to do an episode today on Iron Shauna about cooking with canned foods. Actually, this will be a little bit of a mix of canned and a little bit of frozen. Mostly because I've been pretty busy lately, so I have had fewer chances to pick up fresher ingredients, and so what I have on hand is a bunch of canned and frozen stuff. Most recently, I got a can of black-eyed peas, which I didn't grow up with black-eyed peas, so I was kind of curious to see what I could make out of them. Most of the recipes I found involved some sort of ham or bacon. Don't have any of that on hand at the moment, so what I found was a vegetarian version that involves a bunch of spices, kind of an Indian black-eyed pea recipe. I'll show you a shot of the ingredients here and here. Okay, so basically I'm going to half the recipe, take all the ingredients and cut them in half, starting with the beans because I only have the one can and the recipe calls for two. I've already put the one can of beans in my pot. I don't know why I mix those up, but I do. Beans are in the pot. I'm going to I just filled this full of water, which equals 1.5 cups of water. And I will go ahead and add my teaspoon of bouillon to that. It has some salt in it, but it is low sodium, so use whatever version you have, low sodium if you have it. Okay, I don't know if you can see, I'm pointing right there to the pot on the stove. It is on high at the moment. I'm going to bring that to a boil, skim the foam off after it's boiled, add the bay leaf, and then simmer until it's all soft and dissolved together. The directions say that that will take 1 to 2 hours. My guess is that it'll take me closer to 1 than 2. Your results may vary. Okay, so while we're waiting for the beans and the broth to come to a boil and do the bay leaf deal, I'm going to start working on another pot. Wow. I'm going to start working on another pot for the curry part of the recipe. So I will start with my oil. Add that. It's a tablespoon of your favorite oil. Hopefully a mild one. Again, I'm still using my sesame oil until it's all gone. You may use olive oil or vegetable oil, whatever you want. The other thing I'm going to throw in here is, can I do this and you can see it? Minced ginger, minced garlic, mustard seed. Can you see the seeds kind of rolling around in there? And minced jalapeno pepper. So I'm going to just throw this all into the oil. And make sure to wash your hands immediately after your hands come in contact with any pepper, especially because if you don't think about it and rub your eye, ouch. There are a lot of other reasons why. Just wash your hands before you do anything else. So I'm going to put this on the stove and let that simmer for a bit. The beans are already coming to a boil, so I'm going to skim the foam off the top and put the bay leaf in. Bay leaf. I can hear the mustard seeds popping already, so I'm going to add the rest of the spices now. We've got, see if I can remember them all. I just put them in here. There's paprika, the red one. There's turmeric, which is only a half teaspoon compared to the teaspoon of the rest of the spices. Cumin. And I think this fourth one is coriander. I'll have to go back and verify that, actually. Coriander. It's coriander. Ding. I got it. So I'm going to throw all of these in with the rest of the spices. And now that all the spices are together and heated well in the oil in the saucepan, I'm going to go ahead and add half of my can of tomatoes. These are whole peeled tomatoes. You can use diced. The recipe actually called for fresh diced tomatoes. Of course, again, we're using canned goods and frozen goods, so this is what I'm using. So for the rice, most people know how to prepare rice, but I'll just do a quick run through just in case. You do a 2-to-1 ratio water to rice. So I'm doing 1 cup of rice, that means 2 cups of water. Boil the water, put the rice in, lower the temperature down to simmer, cover, and I'll set the timer for about 30 minutes, and then from there I just sort of check it to taste to see the texture of the rice when it's done. And right now everything is heating up, boiling, simmering, all the respective things, the beans, the curry spice. I ended up putting the full can of tomato in because I decided I liked tomato enough. And I also just cut up the little bits into more diced pieces while in the pan. The other thing you could do is just throw it in a food processor or blender to get it into smaller pieces. I have sort of a flashback to childhood memories when my mother used to make spaghetti sauce with whole stewed tomatoes. And I refused to eat those whole things because they had these little veins in them and they were yucky. I didn't want to touch them or eat them. And of course those were the days of, you know, there are starving kids in third world countries, you better clean your plate. And I don't know why it never occurred to me as a kid to chop the whole stewed tomato into smaller pieces. It just looked so gross at the time. So that's what I'm doing now. I finally figured out how to cut my tomato into smaller pieces. Aren't you so proud of me? Can't believe I shared that story with you. And yeah, now I'm getting a little bored. Everything's doing its own thing and it doesn't need me, so I'm already looking for a new recipe, and maybe I'll do a little dance for you because I don't know what else to do with myself. The rice is done. Yay! We'll just sort of let that sit. And also, we have our beans that have been diligently simmering with the bay leaf for about an hour. I'm actually going to go ahead and leave the bay leaf in there and combine that with the tomato curry concoction that we have here. Since this is the bigger of the two pans, just add it all in there. It has a nice soupy texture to it, so you could actually serve it as soup if you want. And then here's my side of cranberry, spinach, and yellow and green squash, just for a little color on the side. So let's dish it up and see how it looks. There you have it. You can see the rice and the tomato and the black-eyed peas with the side of veggies. Bon appetit. Woozle likes it. I like it. Maybe you'll like it too.